What's up, everyone? It's your boy, The Business, coming back at you live for episode 18 of The Business. Let's be real. Tonight, I kind of wanted to give a shout out first to, Gavin. Gavin turned 10 this Friday, April 2nd. Wanted to give a shout out to him. Super proud of him. Super proud of everything that he does. I love the kid. Just wanted to give him a shout out for his birthday. So I love you, buddy. Happy birthday, man. Tonight's special guest is Carlos Fossi Jr. I was able to meet Carlos quite a while back. You know, it was funny. We were talking about it before the show, and I brought up the year like 2002, and he was a pretty young guy then at this time. He was going to school at Florida Southern at the time. Had a distinguished look about him. The kid was super smart, super funny, and when I talk about distinguished look, he had a mohawk that was probably about a good, 12 to 14 inches off the top of his head, and, was a standout character. Like I said, super cool guy, super funny, real smart. Seeing him throughout the years at the places we would hang out at, namely Winter Circle for the most part. Got a chance to know him here and there. And just a year ago, actually, they just made their 1 year anniversary on the Frack, Paddy, Wack show. I had a chance to really start to get to know Carlos. I was a guest on their show at one point. We chatted it up and kind of have been going back and forth with support with each other on both shows. So, with that being said, The Business, let's be real, episode 18 begins now. Welcome back, everyone, to The Business. Let's be real with Carlos Fossi Jr. Carlos, thanks for
celebrating, my friend. How are you, sir?
Cheers to you, man. Cheers to you.
Cheers. I'll hit the stronger drinks right after. And by the way, you were too kind with that introduction. So maybe this punk kid running around with a mohawk would have been a better thing to say. So, I by the way, everybody, I didn't even pay him to say those nice things about me. So this is how good of a guy Tony is.
Oh, man, I'm excited to have you on tonight, dude. Like I said, kind of got to meet you back in the day. And, we talked earlier about things. And, I kind of wanted you to just tell people a little bit about you. And then I'll start, the Q&A. After you just give a little spot about who Carlos Fossi is.
Let's see. Carlos Fossi is 5'10". He is now feels like a profile back in MySpace. So, originally, for those who know me, this will be a repeat for them. But really, originally, I was born in Maracaibo, Venezuela. So I always like to joke with everybody that I'm the really white-looking Latino guy. So it kind of confuses people at the same time. They'll say Carlos and I don't know. Goes everybody off, but really who I am as a person, like everybody else, we all try to be different, try to be reinventing ourselves every day. And what I've come to find out about living life and getting older as I go, even though I hate to admit it, but it's that I'm learning every day now. I thought learning stopped at school. Actually, learning happens every single day. So starting out with my life earlier on, I mean, I don't know if you want me to go that back, way back kind of thing and process through and walk me through my life. Or
we're definitely going to dig into everything, like I said, because I want to talk, about your transition, how your family's transitioned from Venezuela, like you said, and then, us go into whatever you want. That's what I'm saying. Like, cool. If you want to start talking about it now, go ahead.
Let's do it. So again, I was born in Venezuela. I don't really remember much because I moved to the U.S. when I was 7 years old. So what I do remember is small fragments, going to Catholic school, the house that I raised in pretty much, and then just little bits and pieces of the town that I grew up in. But really from there, I don't have many memories. Again, I was 7 years old. So what really impacted me, though, was when I first got to the U.S. Again, I was 1989, September or November, and getting to Miami. Basically, it's a whole new world, this major mega metropolitan area down there, Brickell Avenue, right by the airport. So anybody's been in Miami knows that area. Not the most roughest, but not the easiest either. So coming to the U.S., I mean, my parents had been here prior. They came. My father studied medicine here since back in the '60s and '70s. So mom had been here as an exchange student to California, went to Disneyland, all the touristy stuff. And really, the main reason why we even left Venezuela and came over was because my parents realized that the political world down in Venezuela. I mean, if you hear the word right now, Venezuela, you're obviously thinking, ugh, third world country, socialism, etc. And it's all true. But back then, before it got that bad, they had the sixth sense going like, things are going downhill. It's not what it used to be, and that was a major factor for them. They did not want to raise their kids, and it's only my sister and I. She's 3 years older. I didn't say that, but but yeah. So they just said we don't want to have our kids raised in this kind of lifestyle where we have to be looking our shoulders, having barbed wire, electrical fencing around the house. My dad used to drive with a 45 underneath the seat. Things like that, day in, day out. So they're like, no, we're going to go to the U.S. There's better opportunity, better lifestyle. And I know people today complain about the situation. And I'm not even going to get into the politics of anything. But I'd still rather live here in hard times than over there with money. It just, no comparison. So, yeah. So after moving to the U.S., we moved around Florida, essentially, because my father was a surgeon. So he got the first jobs in Miami area. Then we moved up to Tallahassee, got an offer up there. Then we ended up eventually over to Pensacola, Pace Milton area, actually. And the cool part about living there was the fact that we got to see the Blue Angels, because that's Eglin Air Force Base was one of their bases. So it was great getting to, take a day off school, and then my mom would drive us in the minivan, and we'd go sit out just like 2 miles away from the airport, not the airport, Air Force Base. And essentially then just look at them doing practice runs. So, and after that, we ended up down in Lakeland area, again, work and life scenarios. And I truly can call Lakeland my hometown. I've been here the longest, and it's really grown on me. So when I got here, I must have been closer to like maybe 12, 13 years old. And at that time, I'm going like, whatever, it's another city, we're moving. We'll probably move again, it's what I'm used to. But really staying here, going through middle school, high school, and college, and now my professional life here as well, I start seeing the geographical potential this area has. I-4 between Orlando and Tampa. You can go north, you can go to Ocala, Gainesville. You can go to Tampa, you can go Orlando, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. So it's great location.
Yeah, it's right in the middle of the state, actually.
Exactly. I know people knock it, and I know Florida man always comes up somehow, and you just can't avoid it. But at the end of the day, though, I'll still take this. Also, being Latino, I don't know if it's my genetics or not, but man, anything above Georgia is just too cold for me. I can't.
No, I get it. You're tropical, dog.
I think I got a stamp, kind of like Chiquita Banana. I was like, oh, tropical.
You talked about coming to Lakeland, I guess at 12, 13. Can you talk about what it was like, really like growing up in Lakeland then at that point, and like, how it was for your transition? Because I mean, now 12, 13, I mean, you're not, a little kid growing up playing soccer and doing all the little stuff that little kids do growing up with each other. You're now coming, in the middle of a time where kids are trying to start to find themselves and really break into groups. And, can you talk about that time?
Oh, yeah. So funny you mentioned about the soccer thing, because that was happening up in the Pace Milton area. I played, soccer up there as a kid. But you're right. Down here, I was just getting to school. It was those transformative years where you're right. You start looking at the cliques, the metalheads, the cheerleaders, the punks, the jocks, the soccer group of kids, those kind of things. And for me at that time, I will give a shout out though to my sister. She's always been very influential in my life, always a positive, person in my life. And she was the kind of person who would introduce me to things, but also help me make a decision and let me make a decision. Try to guide me. So she was the one who introduced me to a lot of different music. I grew up with everything from, Garth Brooks to Brooks and Dunn to Guns N' Roses and AC/DC. So it was varied because of her, but I just found something and kind of honed in on it and loved it. And that's where the, punk music came into my life. So me at that time, I got my first mohawk at the age of 13, and that was my sister who cut it for me without my parents' permission. Needless to say, I was in a slight little bit of trouble. Okay, a lot. And my dad's a little bit more old school when it comes to the traditional lifestyle of, being Latino. And my mom's a little bit always more open, going like, hey, listen, it's just a phase or something or whatever. And the phase of a mohawk lasted till like the age of 26. Yeah. Quite a long phase. So, but yeah, during those transformative years there, I still have the army jacket that I got back in Tallahassee. I'm sorry, that was Pensacola. And, I have the band patches that I have on there, the pins. And then, I still have a pair of Doc Martens that I bought from back then. And all these kind of things are the person that started defining me. So I was always kind of part of the outcast group. But at the same time, I learned to be a chameleon. I had friends who were, going from middle school to high school. I made friends with the high school quarterback, with the kids in the soccer team. And then hanging out with the guys who were just, the pumping iron guys who are always in the gym, doing stuff. And I would also then make friends with a lot of the girls, like in the cheerleading squad, not just because I'm a hormonal boy, but also because of the fact that the girls always were curious. How do you keep, a 10, 12-inch mohawk up like that and it doesn't waver? So part of them is like, that guy's a weirdo, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So
I remember my friends hating me. Like, how do you get to talk to the man? I'm like, I don't know. It's just the hair. So, advantage. But it's cool. So it gave me confidence to be able to talk to them. It felt not threatening for the girls too, I'm sure, because they could just talk to me about hair things. And I would be just as excited. I'm like, oh yeah, let me tell you about this new product. Oh no, don't try that one. If you got wavy hair, you want to try this kind of hairspray. So coming up through those years, I was able to be a chameleon, hang out with a lot of different groups, be more versatile, and expand upon myself. Because then after that, like I said, I grew up a lot of my life here in Lakeland, middle school, high school. And then even after, I know I'm going a little bit ahead but talking through my college years, like you say, you would see me, I would actually be rolling around on a skateboard and see this mohawk just flound in the hallways. So at that time, I was just more, I believed that I would already defined myself. Now I was just trying to figure out, how do I want to be defined by others? I know we all say, I don't care what anybody thinks. We all do, and that was kind of it, for me, just trying to figure out. And then the moment I figured out, I went gung ho with it.
No, and I mean, I think that's what's cool is that you kind of found yourself, like you said, that mohawk defined you, but it wasn't just you. It wasn't you just a person, and I think that was cool. I thought it was funny that I would bring it up in the pre-show because now you're all clean cut and the guy next door. But I know that mohawk guy's still down in there somewhere.
My friends who know me, the real me. This is just because we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But in my profession, there's an expectation. Just saying.
I get it. You talked about junior high and high school there. I know you went to Jenkins.
Yep.
While you were at Jenkins, did anything kind of, I guess now, push the education side of things? I know you were always smart. I know the family's, doctors and stuff like that. So it's like, I know you've always been smart too. I know the punk role of, as far as your outer character went, had nothing to do with, the brains that were inside. Was there certain things that you started to study in Jenkins? Because I know what your degree is in college. Was there something that pushed you at Jenkins to start to go towards that degree?
Yes, but it wasn't something that was just so flagrant and out there. It wasn't like, oh, I had an epiphany and this is what I'm going to do. It was more like an internal build. It was just happened naturally, and eventually when we get to that part of the story, I guess that's what kind of helped me realize and turn on that switch to then finally go, this might be a lot better because looking back, during college, you're saying looking back, it seems to flow naturally. Why not do something that comes naturally to me and that I actually enjoy instead of forcing what, the societal norm might expect? Now, no offense to anybody who wants to be a doctor, lawyer, engineering, physicist, or whatever else. But to me, it wasn't that. I didn't have that moment in role going like, where I could say, I'm going to go for this. So there wasn't a definitive moment. It was more like a build-up that it wasn't until college that I finally realized what it is that I wanted to do and work with.
No, I get it. I've talked to other people. I have a buddy who's a superintendent in schools, and he talked about like he went to school originally. When he went to college, he went for business, of course. You know what I'm saying? Because he wanted to do something in the line of what his uncle was doing, and then he said he happened to go to a school to help somebody with like an intern part, and it really made him see the camaraderie at schools and made him want to follow up in that, like, and get into that industry and kind of go into that. So I think that that's cool. Like, what I mean? Because so many people change their major when they get to college, It's like, it's nothing, everybody wants to go into business and stuff like that. And then they start to see what their niche is and how they're able to, make their own character and do what they want to for their profession. Can you kind of talk about that, I guess, now about when you did make it to Florida Southern, like maybe what you were majoring in and if that major ever changed and what you ended up, and how you got to that degree that you got to?
Yeah, the answer is yes. What you were saying right here, I'm going like, man, this guy's reading my transcripts because that's exactly what I did. It just changed actually, I changed my major twice. And so getting into college, like you said, a lot of people want to do, a certain type of thing because maybe that's what their family had done or what they were known for, etc. So I make the joke, and my sister doesn't like this joke, but too bad. I basically say, hey, you got the brains, I got the looks. Doesn't say much about us. So God bless her. But that's it. Just because dad's a doctor doesn't mean I have the IQ of the doctor. Just let's throw that out there right now. But yeah, so for myself, I did the whole thing where business management. Hey, that's where money's made, and that's kind of a generalized field, and I can find my way in there. And cool, I thought I'd go for it until I realized that nobody in that business department had a soul. So I just couldn't do it. It was too dry. It was just too, cut out all the fat, just straight to the meat, which I get it. That's a good thing to have, especially in business. You need to get to the point scenarios. But for me, there was no life to it. I just couldn't connect with that. So I went after my freshman year and I went undecided. They usually give you some time to do that. So for the whole sophomore year, we're undecided until I took a psychology class, and there was a new professor there, and who to this day I will give always kudos to, that he is the reason why I graduated college. He became my advisor and then my mentor as well, and I always thank him. His name is Dr. Patrick Smith. Great guy. He's still tenured there at Florida Southern College, so shout out to that man. Awesome. Trust me, especially dealing with me. But because he told me, he's like, you were kind of like my personal life test, because I was brand new here and you gave me a hard time, but just enough to test me, not enough to be an a-hole. But seriously, great, amazing person to this day. So but once I talked with him and he kind of, helped me make a decision and say, well, listen, what are you going to do? And he would just kind of just talk shop with me. Didn't, BS me. So I say, well, you got to think about life. No, just said, well, what do you want? It's your life. I'm like, oh God, I got to make decisions now. I wasn't ready. So going through that time, then, he really intrigued me. And that's the moment that I started having that aha moment going, well, people seem to naturally just want to talk to me or just tell me secrets. And I'm sitting here going like, I know too much about everybody. I should have known this. And not that it scared me, but I have a natural knack and tendency to talk to people and to want to educate and help people. If I have something that can help you out, I know you and I have talked prior to the show, and even when we were starting Frick, Frack, Paddy, Wack, that, hey, listen, what can we do for you? Well, what are you guys doing? Hey, let me show you this. What about this? And and I would be sharing things. Mm-hmm. I love doing that. Is it going to benefit me? Well, Maybe not, but it helps somebody else. Hey, I've done my job.
That's
So
cool.
that kind of mentality to educate others, to help others better themselves or be in a better spot, I started realizing as a psychologist or a psychiatrist potentially, that's what they do. They try to help individuals. So whether it be business or personal, or I know people think of psychologists or psychiatrists like, okay, lay down on this bench, and like tell me all your problems, and they're not all like that. But at the end of the day, I wanted to help people, and that's what I like doing, and that's kind of that aha moment that I had there. So through high school, coming into that, people just felt comfortable talking to me. Again, I have too many secrets. I know too much. So maybe a
I,
good thing or a bad thing. So anybody back in high school who knew me then, ugh.
yeah, but
But yeah,
obviously, yeah.
so I ended up graduating with a general degree in psychology. So got my BA, Bachelor Arts, and I tried continuing afterwards because my goal actually was to be working with children and working with families. So DCF, or child's therapy, or sexually abused individuals, minors, or teens, and help them through getting to overcoming the trauma in the process. So I remember doing signing up for an internship with the DCF, the Department of Children and Families. I was there for half a day, and I didn't make it. After like the lunch break, I said it was too hardcore for me. God bless the people who can work in those positions. I got a great buddy who works with works as a guardian ad litem, working with children, representing them in court if they have no representation. And again, Lord bless everybody who's working DCF, those kind of positions. But I said I can't do this. And the lady kind of asked me, it's like, well, listen, it's okay. We'll change the hours of the work or whatever. I says, no, I want to help people. And maybe what I had in my mind, I don't think is it. Uh, because basically what I had witnessed within a 4 to 5 hour period is all these stories about, parents or children being abused in some sort of way, and how people were getting away with things, and because they found loopholes in the systems. And I thought to myself, I am either going to have to shut down all my emotions,
Mhm.
and people who know me, my emotions, I can't keep in check. People can read my emotions sometimes. I've worked on not being so readable. I don't know if that's a word now, but I just realized that that's not me. If I do that, I'm going to hate myself as a human being. Again, Lord bless the people who can do that and help others and can. So I said, I'm either going to A, have to do that, or B, I'm going to reach across the table and start beating somebody up. Because I hear some of those stories that I'm like, how dare you? The audacity and it was just disgusting. So I said, I got to find something else. I can find education and helping people in another way, but I realized this was not for me. So kudos to those people who work in that field.
No, I get it, man. Like it is tough. I tell you what. I mean, I think that it is a very emotional industry. I was going to ask you about how long after you got your degree. That was kind of my next question, was how long after you got your degree did you practice or try to work at trying to get into something with psychology?
Half a
And
day.
no, that's the real though. I get it. And then I guess because like I said, I was going to ask you about that, and you talked about how you just couldn't, kind of witness that and just stay mum about it, even though I knew, I mean, you would have been helping do the best that you could, but it's tough, it's tough, because of the fact that I know that you're, also trained in martial arts and stuff like that. So it's tough to watch kids that are being abused, like
Defenseless.
and not personally want to do something about it.
And I know violence is not the answer.
Yeah.
Violence should be last resort always. I didn't learn martial arts to beat people up. I learned it to defend myself because I'm not a huge guy. I'm only 5'10", weigh 160 and change. So, and I'm not built, by any means, muscular or whatever. So, but you're right. Me feeling like that, helpless and not being able to do anything, it would tear me down. Now, I know that if I stuck through it, I may be able to, kind of plow through it and go through it. But I just knew that at that moment in time, being fresh out of college, which I graduated in 2005. So I was 21-ish, 22. So I knew that then I couldn't do much for them because me taking over a case like that, it would have probably hurt them a lot more.
Sure.
So yeah, it was.
Emotions would have gotten in the way. I mean, I get it. People do find loopholes in the system, and it's crazy. It's a crazy system. So
But that's why I say thank you to those people who work in that kind of field, because you know what, they're doing same greater than I can. So
true.
Lord bless them. I hope they win something on a scratch off lottery, or somebody buys them a drink.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers to you guys.
For real. Oh, I did want to mention something though. Another reason why I, was so quick to make a decision within a half day time frame wasn't just because I wussed out, for the emotions, but it's also a talk that I had with my advisor, because I was going or thinking for going from my master's afterwards. And he told me, well, listen, your grades are all right. You may have to work a little bit on I think it was the LSAT or the MCAT. I don't know which one. It was some test that you had to take before to go apply for the master's program. And he said, before you do that, before you spend your money and spend your time and other people's time, ask yourself, are you willing to give more than 110%? Because if you're not, then don't waste your money, don't waste your time, and don't waste your time. Because maybe the professor trying to help you is maybe trying to help that B plus student become an A plus student. And you took away the time because you're not really going to dedicate time to it. Like I said, this guy laid it out for me. He was no holds bar, but enough to help me understand, which is also kind of help me make that decision going like, if I know I'm already feeling like this now, why am I going to waste their time or mine? So he talked, the business, let's be real, he was real with me.
That's awesome.
So, but again, sometimes you need to hear that kind of stuff.
You do.
And not waste their time.
No, that's the truth, man. I guess now, can you kind of talk about, that transition from what you were doing and how you eventually got into finance then at that point? Yeah. And what were some of your inspirations to get into finance?
Well, who doesn't like money? Let's just start there. So I like the background, by the way, right there. All the money, just make it rain. So don't spend your money strip clubs. I mean, okay, one time you're having fun, I get it. Anyways, if it's in your budget. So funny enough, I didn't start off immediately right into the financial world after. I actually had a job working with USF, and I was working there as a mentor, as a student coach, working as an advisor for some programs. I was even sent out to like North Carolina and El Paso, Texas, and Georgia and everything like that, to help be the representative and the liaison between that college and our college. Well, right now it's Polk State College, but before, the one right there on 98, Bartow Road, it actually was USF Polytech before they moved to the location over there by I-4. So anyways, worked there for some time, and it was cool. I was helping people. It was on the technology end, but again, it was in the field of helping others. Then a buddy of mine offered me a sales position at Guitar Center, and I was and I've always been playing in bands since I was like 15, 16. Played bass guitar and then played drums, and now apparently I'm playing bass in a band again. But I was like, hey, this is going to be a position that's going to be better for me monetarily. It was like an hourly position, but not a lot. Like most sales positions are. They give you a small hourly, but then you got to, check for commissions if you're selling, etc. And the position that I had at the college was driven by a grant. So I think it's paying me like $10 an hour, and that was like 04 or 05. So I mean, it wasn't bad money, but it was something to start out at least, give me a base. So I said, well, yeah, I can make more money, and it's music and stuff, and I can get discounts on the instruments. So hey, I saw potential savings, but realizing also that being in sales directly like that was also not my forte, because I didn't want to push something in order to hit a quota. Nobody wants to be sold. I get it. I don't want to be sold. And I realized that, well, this type of sales is different than other types of sales. And again, you got to put your time into it. And it was a good company, and I got my discounts when I bought instruments, and I learned a lot about the industry. But then there's a funny hiccup here that right around Guitar Center time, and I have to kind of tell the story. I went to visit my grandmother for her birthday back in 2009, and my mom was going to go there. So I was still working with Guitar Center. I said, hey, guys, I'm going to take some time off before the Christmas holiday. I'll be back right before, because, holiday season coming up, a lot of sales are going to happen. I said, hey, I'm going like 2 weeks prior, but I'll be back. They said, no problem. Just make sure you're back. So I go travel with my mom. And the long story short is I ended up getting stuck out of the country. They would not let me come back from Venezuela. Now, shame on them, shame on me. They gave me, well, for those who don't know, I became a U.S. citizen back in 2013. This is 2009. I wasn't a U.S. citizen yet. I was still a resident alien. So they gave me the exit visa stamp. And they noticed in the system that it was expired. And they're supposed to give me the entry one. But I guess one system didn't talk to the other, and they didn't give me the entry one. So I had no way of coming back. The U.S. system has 6 months working with citizens and non-citizens. They were on the citizen period. Well, I wasn't a citizen. So I would have had to wait almost till June, July of 2010 to come back. And I'm like, I can't be out of the country for 6 months. I got to get back to work. I told my boss I'd be back before Christmas holiday. So I ended up getting stuck out of the country. I lived for 2 weeks in my home city in Maracaibo. The embassy has shut down, and finally they told me I got to go to Caracas, which is the capital. So I ended up living with my cousin during the Christmas and New Year's right there, 2 weeks with him. And then my parents were concerned because I know I'm from Venezuela. I can read, write, and speak the language in Spanish and all fluently. But my mannerisms are not very Latino anymore. Again, I've been here since I was 7 years old. I'm pretty much Guns N' Roses America, tell you what. So they're like, listen, we got to get you out of there. So I ended up traveling to anywhere that I could go outside of Venezuela because it's dangerous down there. If they would have seen me and they would have said, you have family in America, they would have kidnapped me and then pretty much held me ransom for American dollar because it's worth more.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my reality. And I'm going, this is not cool. So yeah, during the time, I had to quit my job, obviously, at Guitar Center. We took out all the money that we could from my 401k and everything and my vacation hours, using all the money for lawyers and things to get me back into the country. But I remember one specific date, which was January 10th of 2010. That is when I actually found a way to get out of the country, but I couldn't touch the U.S. soil. But we had a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who had an apartment in the Bahamas, right in Nassau, right on the beach. But I had to travel to get there. So I ended up traveling from Caracas to Curacao, Curacao, Montego, Montego to Kingston, Kingston to Nassau. I spent 20 hours in airports just traveling right there in the Caribbean. So that was a hassle right there. And I'm not going to tell the full in-depth story because I get emotional every time I tell it. You will see me cry. But anyways, I got to the Bahamas and I ended up living there for a month, which was kind of fun. I mean, when I say literally, imagine like your house and you walk to the backyard and you take maybe 20, 25 steps, there's the ocean. That's where I was.
That's cool.
So not too bad.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I lived there for a month. But I got back to the U.S. February 12th, which was a Thursday. And then after that, I still had the interest of working with, making a better life for myself. I had to get at whatever job it could give me. And I think almost like 70% of the population in Lakeland has worked at GC Services in some time in their life. So, and for those who don't know, that's a call center for Verizon Wireless, collections and things like that. But I worked there for some while. It was a quick, easy job I could get, and it helped me start getting up. And I'm working a lot, within collections and money. And I started realizing I can help people with things, but just not in this way. It's a little different in collections. And from there, I went into accounting with a distributor company for alcohol. And I got more interested in the sales part because not only did we get to drink the product, but we actually got a chance to make better money. And another company scouted me. Actually, a manager from that company went somewhere else. They scouted me, worked with them, working in a more salesy position. And then that's when the current company that I'm with right now kind of found me. And that's when I started realizing this is what I want to do. And it wasn't because, the position, pays X, Y, and Z. It wasn't because of the description. It was because the reason why they existed, what they stood for, and the overall, just the heart of the company, what they were after. Their reason why spoke to me. And I was so angry at the financial industry because before I say this, how are we on language here? Do I keep it
Oh,
PG
no, you're cool.
13?
Cool. Yeah, you can say whatever you want. I mean, I'm not. Yeah,
Okay,
censored.
just making sure. So a lot of people get screwed over in the financial industry. I was getting fucked.
I get it.
So that was pretty bad because nobody had ever taught me about money. Nobody ever taught me how to be prepared for a mortgage, for a car loan. How much money should I save? Where do I save my money? What is a 401k? All we hear is from HR. Here's your options. Check a box. Turn it in by Thursday at 2 p.m. That's
That's
it.
the truth. That's the truth, man.
So those kind of things. So this company now involved two things that I really love: education and money. Not money because of like mwahaha greedy, Scrooge McDuck, but it's having the money. It's making the money. It's how to use the money properly. Money's not the root of all evil. It's the love of money. But I love being able to people with money to make sure they have a better life. If I can help somebody with their budget and now they've got a better chance to retire 5 years sooner, that's a dream come true for a lot of people. But I also get to educate them, sit with them, talk with them. 80% of my clients have my cell phone number right here, and they can get a hold of me anytime. They can text me. It's not a 1-800 number. And these feelings have only gotten stronger every day that I'm with the company and doing what I do, because I see what's happening out there, what's happened to my friends, what happened to my family, how they got taken advantage because how things work in South America don't work the same here.
True.
So again, my life has been one big, domino effect after the other, like all of us. But luckily for me, I'd like to think it's been one hit, but leading to the bigger domino to take away the biggest domino at the end. So I've been fortunate now to really fall in love with what I do. Some people say, "Oh yeah, I love what I do," or they back up for a second and say, "Well, it pays the bills." I get to wake up and say, "Man, I get to go after my dreams. I get to, help others." And the fun thing is, I don't make money unless I'm helping other people.
That's true.
That for me, that checks a lot of boxes for me right there. So eventually, all the things that have happened to me in my life ended up building up to something that finally struck a chord with me. It struck a nerve and it finally said, "You have found the best of both worlds to fulfill you." I know for some people, they hear the word financial and they're already going, "Ugh, this is expensive," or "Ugh, boring." I'm already picturing people like with like a book on their face, just ugh. And I get it, but I like to nerd out on those things. But it's okay. Hey, Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, Mr. Whoever. It's not your job to know those things. It's my job to help you to get there. I'll be the nerd about it. Let me just translate it and get you to the right place. So it excites me. Talking with somebody and showing them things and being able to say, "This can make your life easier, right? Let's do something about it." So the passion, just the fire inside, just really started when I talked with a company, and I think it was because it was anger. It was truly anger because I was so angry in the industry how they screwed me over and people that I knew, and that was another driving factor.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. It's crazy. We never know what's kind of gonna push us in the directions that we go in, and
Yeah.
and like you said, you were getting it stuck, and you had to figure out a way how, and luckily, and that's the thing with I think sometimes where financial advisors do kind of get a bad rap, and people don't want to listen to it because
They hear about the Bernie Madoffs.
yeah, and I'm
And Enron.
I'm in the Sarasota area, so Bernie had a big hit on these people that are out here.
Oh
And
yeah.
like a lot of people that I know personally got burnt by Bernie in that situation, and that hurt the financial advisor industry. Like that hurt anybody that was in that. So I think for people to go about it the right way, and I know you're like I said, you're kind of a public figure. You put yourself out there. You got your own webcast, and we'll talk about that here. in a few minutes. But it's like, so it's not like you're not afraid to be in the public eye, So, and I think that if you were doing something that wasn't ethical, kind of way, you would be kind of shying away from the limelight a little bit, and then you're not. You got your own. You're coming on here tonight with me, and this puts you in a different showcase and kind of put you on a different stage and a different forum to talk about it, what it is that you do.
And by the way, everybody should be subscribing and sharing and watch partying and liking Mr. Tony right here. Get him on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Seriously, okay? So support your local people. This is a great man right here.
I appreciate it, dude. I try to do that with you guys. You know that every week I'm on, on FFP.
We appreciate you, man. Trust me.
Yeah, and it's like I want to drop in and just let you guys know that I'm watching and I'm supporting, and because it's important, man. It's important for us to support each other, because that's how it's all going to start out, for each of us, is just with that local support, and then where it eventually goes from there, it's up to the man kind of in that situation. So it's like we'll figure that out when it's that time, So I know in 2014 you made that transition, I guess, to start becoming a financial advisor and kind of working for yourself and doing that. How long were you in like kind of wine and spirits? Because I know you were doing the sales. You talked about that. You didn't say how long, I guess, you were in that, but like what was your kind of tenure in wine and spirits? Because I know you did that for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah. So I was there, I think it was 2011 when I started with them. And it was an accounting position, so accounts receivable. So I was looking at the books of companies. They gave me a sector within Florida, and I was making sure that things were paid. If somebody had credits that they need to be applied, or somebody needed to say, "Oh no, we didn't receive the shipment," and I had to double check the invoice and say, "Well, no, here it says it did drop off, so you got to talk to your manager now." Things like that. Working the accounts receivables and even the accounts payables. I took care of some of that stuff. So I started there in that line, and then eventually, after about a year and change, about 2.5 years, I started hearing about the position opening up inside sales. So it wasn't like your outside rep who would drive around to the local restaurant or to the Publix or to the whatever location and actually, do a wine tasting with them or be there present face to face. The inside sales division was very brand new. So I was able to have accounts all the way from Key West up to Pensacola across the U.S. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but some people understood. Hey, you're in the middle of nowhere, Palatka. Do have the people here even know where Palatka, Florida is? So let's start with that. But they understood, because sales reps are only so many. But you can't take a guy away from Ocala, Gainesville, to drive all the way down here for one little shop that's going to make a purchase of $128. No offense to them, but time is money, and they got to run around and take care of a bunch of things. It's not just me delivering something. That's what delivery guys are for. So the inside sales team was very cool, and I had a good buddy in there who said, "Hey, you should do this, you should do this." And, one of the managers who came in after the fact that I was there, real cool guy, helped me grow within that field. So I was about 2.5 years accounting, then about 2.5 years doing the inside sales positions. And that's about the right time where I was scouted by a manager who left that company and went somewhere else. And they said, "Hey, come over with me." So, and it was working with a company called FinTech, which essentially they're working with, they work also within the alcohol industry, but they were working with automated systems. So if you own a restaurant, let's say, for example, Winter Circle. So instead of somebody having to go in and call National Republic or Southern Wine and Spirits, now it's Southern Glaciers, or calling Bernie Little for their alcohol to know how much they bought, how much they've spent, how much they've sold, X, Y, and Z. These are automated systems where they could they could pay through ETF automatically, so you don't have to worry about having a manager who's able to sign or having a check ready. They made things easy on the paying end, and then the people who wanted the paid program, they can have this reports and these things. So if you owned 3 restaurants, all of a sudden you're noticing, hey, somebody's buying Absolute vodka at this location, and we don't carry Absolute, we carry Tito's. So it helped managers be able to take care of their inventory. So it was really cool. It was a great system. They're still up and running. Great, growth that they've had. But again, the position that I was in was not for me. So let's just say that we found a mutual agreement for my exit.
No, that's cool.
So, but then after that time, I was actually working still with that company, FinTech, and 2014 I started part time with the financial education advising portion of things because I didn't know if I was going to be good at it. I
Sure.
had no financial background, no idea what the heck I was doing. I just know that I can help people. I was angry at the industry and I can make more money. Yeah, I want to make more money. And this can help me personally too. So started part time. So, I mean, it's been now 6.5 years being with the company. And about 2 years and change, I was part time. So I was still working my job and making money on the side until I started making the same amount of money part time. So I'm going, well, what I'm making here 40 hours a week, I'm making here 6 hours a week. Hmm.
You do the math. I get it. I get it.
Listen, I was a C plus student at best in math, but I could do that math.
No, that's awesome. I guess if you want to talk now, since you said you've been in the industry for 6.5 years now, can you talk about some of your? I mean, I know that this COVID situation kind of hurt people, and then it reopened everybody up. But pre-COVID, can you talk about maybe some of the portfolio changes that you made for some people and really helped them out that you're personally proud of?
This is going to sound really weird, and some people are going to raise an eyebrow. But the best choice that I made during that time was not change anything. Number one, no, I didn't do it because of this reason, but number one, people can smell fear. They hear this from some guy on TV. They heard this from some, sports athlete or big figure from television or the Kardashians. I don't know. They hear so many things from different sources, but I have to remind people you have to differentiate the noise and the signal. All this noise back here, all these things, white noise kind of thing. But what's the signal really telling? You got to break away from all this and see what's actually happening. So one of the biggest things that I tell individuals, now again, right now, I'm not giving anybody financial advice. You can't hold me liable. I'm just talking about it here in general. So this is the legal part of the show.
Running across the bottom there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it'll be like the Micro Machine guys, not the little guys. So no, but these are just things in general that anybody can kind of grasp the concept of. But we have to realize that people think that when the market goes down, that you've lost money. You see the numbers go down. Has the value gone down? We can agree, yes. If something goes from $100,000 to $80,000, did the value go down? Yes. But if at that time, so let's say that's COVID, you had 100 grand, it went down to 80 grand, and all of a sudden things are coming back like they have, and now things are 120 grand. Did you gain money? Right. Oh, but it could have been better because yeah, but you didn't lose money. You don't lose money until you pull out the money.
Yeah, just hold tight.
I believe the bottom line of when everything got to the quote unquote worst was March 23rd, because things didn't start closing in the U.S. until like early March, like March 10th or so. So March 23rd was when there was, I think, was at the most bottom on the market. So had you pull out your money then yes, you would have actualized a real loss because your value went from 100 to 80,000. You pulled out 80,000, you lost 20 grand. But anybody who kept it there, well, that would have been the best time to put money in because everything's on sale. Yes, the value went down, but that means that something cost $100 and now it costs 80. Well, if you put in 100, you buy 1.2 of it, not just one. So I'll tell anybody out there, if there's a Corvette for sale and original price is 50 grand and it's on sale for 25 grand, are you more willing to buy it now?
No, I get it.
Yeah. So again, simple mathematics, simple equations. I try to keep it like this, very easy to understand. It shouldn't have to be learning, Sanskrit. God bless those who can earn it easy, but not me. But yeah, so that's probably my best achievement, was help them walk off or walk back from the ledge. Because a lot of people want to take action at a time and say, "Oh my gosh, everything's happening." I get it. That's the noise you're hearing. But what's the actual signal? What's actually happening? And those who actually listened to me, which about 98% did, they're really extremely happy right now, because what are things now?
Right back up.
On the upswing, etc.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, and that's what I think. I mean, some people need to hear that. Like, sometimes you just hold tight. There are better days to come.
Also, quick caveat, just to make sure.
Go ahead.
When it comes to this kind of stuff, especially, I get it. There's a lot of caveats. Yes, if you're 60 years old, you're worrying about different things than if you're 25. So understand this is a case-by-case scenario. My example was a generalization. So please understand. Don't come at me on the chat, okay? Be like, roast him. No, don't come at me, bro.
No.
Yeah,
I get
but if you have questions,
in a particular way, like, and what you had your people invested into,
Now, individuals who are at a certain age range with X, Y, and Z dollar amounts, I had to approach it differently, because that wasn't the approach that they needed. They needed to protect their assets versus now growth and potential of what they had, or just having a conversation and understand what's happening. So all scenarios are different. Again, the caveats. Now, is it okay if I can tell people my phone number? Is that all right, so people can have it? Because I don't mind if they want to reach out to me and talk to me personally. Maybe we'll do it at the end.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm going to give you actually, my next question is going to be somewhat about crypto, because you and I talked about it beforehand. I do want to dig into the cryptocurrency situation and kind of what people think about it, and what you think about it, especially, and I mean, how you've advised on cryptocurrency, and then I'm after that. Like, what I'll do now is I'll put you solo screen. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency at this point. If you can dig about that, and then I'll put you solo screen. Yeah, I'll put you solo screen, let you rip and roar.
Sure.
And then I'll come back in, and then we'll talk about. Putting you back solo, letting you kind of spit to people how they can contact you if they need any advice or anything like that.
More than glad to.
All right, big guy. Here you go.
So, at least to start talking about crypto, and now the first thing I'm going to start saying about that is there are so many different, types of crypto out there. Not only like the different coins. Yes, people know about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, and all these other ones that are out there. There are so many out right now. So what I would like to just mention about cryptocurrency specifically is just generalizations to help understand. Now, I'm not going to help you understand what a blockchain is and how they do it and all those things. Again, I'm not that person. But at the end of the day, though, it's the question that I get a lot of times when it comes to crypto specifically is, should I get it? Is it something that I should look into? Should I invest? How much should I invest? Should I even look at it? So let's start with understanding, a generalization of what is cryptocurrency. Now, I'm sure you can get on Google, type in what is cryptocurrency, and you'll find 3 billion sites about it. So, but again, cryptocurrency being that exactly. It's basically, it's not an actual physical monetary thing. It's not a dollar bill or a coin. It's a currency that's electronic, and and it's valued, but not valued in the same way that we have, like the dollar, where a lot of things are based on perhaps on the National Reserve, gold, etc. But it's based on the value of how many there are, and then the perceived value. That's why you'll see it spike and go up and everything. But outside of that, let's talk a little bit more about, why should I have it? Should I have it? So let's look at, again, a generalization. The beautiful thing about cryptocurrency, and the thing that most people love about it, is that it's unregulated. So there's nobody telling us, there's no central monetary international fund telling you this is the value, this is what we can only take it as. No, it's unregulated. You can say, I want to pay for something on Amazon for it, or I want to buy dinner with this money, or I can trade it off for a value for X, Y, and Z. So you can use it for a lot of different things. Unregulated, do as you wish with it. But then the downside is also it's unregulated. When it comes to today's financial world. Now, can these things change in the future? Yeah, they can change. So with that change, we're not there yet. This is very brand new. Although Bitcoin's been around since I believe 2009, again, we're still brand new. We're only in 2021, but that's been a long time. That's almost 12, 13 years out. Yeah, but it's still brand new. It's now coming to the limelight within the last 5 years. There's nothing still in place. And I know a lot of people will argue, well, the moment they start regulating it and taking control and they make money, well, yeah, I get it. But for now, if you try to get a mortgage and you got to show credit, or try buying a vehicle and showing a history, and it's an unregulated product with no quote unquote paper trail, then how can you show somebody value if there's no way to track it? So we have to understand, for now at least, it's very brand new still. People want to have something they can follow. They want to have some kind of trail to show proof. And at the same time, that's the problem. You can't show proof with it. But you can say, oh yeah, I have this much in my wallet or whatever. But again, no trail, unregulated. So who knows how much value is? And people will fight on either side. And I'm not here to say, well, let's fight about it. If anything, I welcome conversation. Teach me something new about it. I'm not against it. I will just say, don't bet your retirement on it just yet. Understand that it's okay to have that. If you have an extra amount of money that you want to spend on that, maybe an extra $100 or something, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with trying to learn about it. I welcome people to educate themselves on those kind of things. I know people have an issue with Robinhood currently because everything that happened with GameStop a while back, but it's cool that people have all these apps, Acorns or whatever else, and they're educating themselves about it. So that's cool. That's awesome. Hey, that gets you wanting to learn more about it. So that's an easier conversation for me to have. But at the same time, there are some things you want to have, before you start just throwing 100 or $5,000 towards these kind of things. One thing that I always talk about, and I promise you I'll get off my hard horse real quick, but hey, listen, if you don't have an emergency account, if you're not maximizing your IRA, and putting into your 401k, if you have one available, you have no business in throwing out any spending money. That's just my take on it. But the reason why I say that is because I've had the experience and I've seen so many people go through so many things in life that tends to be the average. If you can't even change a flat tire because you have money in your savings, but you got $5,000 sitting in a Bitcoin account, it's not really helping you. So now you got to go into credit card debt, put in a credit card or something, and now you're out. So again, I got off my high horse on that. But again, the nice thing about it, and again, I'm not against it. I welcome the conversation on it. But for sure, take a look at it, learn about it. Just be wary. There are so many websites now that will try to invite you to learn about it and say, hey, you can trade it, you can do it. So do research, and do a lot of research. Unfortunately, there are people who are cryptocurrency experts out there, but your broke uncle is probably not one of them. No offense to anybody who has a broke uncle. But at the end of the day, you got to take a look at it. What's good for you now? What does this mean to me? Should I be doing this as part of my plan financially? I'm giving generalized situation scenarios here. If you're a single individual, you got money saved up, things are okay for now, you got an extra $50, okay, go try it out, no worries. But listen, if you got a family of 5, you're falling behind on the bills, and you're struggling just to make the next paycheck, right now is not the time for that kind of stuff. Just my 2 cents. But anyways, take a look at the crypto material. The nice thing about it is the fact that, once again, it's unregulated and people can have something that can change overnight. But again, that's the bad thing about it. It can change overnight that quickly. For those who remember, a couple of years back, I think it was up to like 14 or 18,000, and it dropped almost by $7,000 like that because of one person's action. So at that end, we have to realize that you have your ducks in order. I know nobody loves having a budget. Nobody likes the B word. But once you get your things in place, then you start looking at those extra things. And I don't care if it's crypto or Acorn or Robinhood, that's fine. But take the time to actually do the research, to take a look at it. If you have a friend who actually has done it, and not just done it here and there, but has actually had some experience, and I'm not saying experience by actually gaining money, because if you will gain, you will lose. But who is actually doing all right in their financial situation, and they're kind of already following the footsteps of what I'm talking about, where they have things set and they're doing it just on the side for right now, and they're making extra money. Great, take a look at it. Nothing wrong with it. So, but I will hop on the case of don't put your retirement on this just yet. Again, it's still very brand new. Not because it's a bad thing, but once again, it's still brand new. Again, it's been around since '09. It's only 13 years old. People are still trying to figure things out, and people can get, the most dangerous thing, easily ripped off from crypto because they may not know that this thing is perhaps something that you thought was valid and it isn't now. So
I appreciate
it's hard to talk about all the different ones because there's so many different ones now.
Yeah, no, I mean, there truly is, and I think that's why people are so skeptical to get into it. And there's a lot of people, like you said, if you don't have cash in hand, even with the bank system, I mean, everything's digital right now. It's like ups and downs in any way. Can you gain and lose? Yes,
Yeah, it's.
I
know there's the FDIC to help protect up to a certain dollar amount. I think it's 250,000 in banks, but if your money, if you have 50 grand, if you have 10 grand sitting in your savings account at the bank, I tell most people at least have minimum 3 months worth of your income, average income, gross. If you have that amount sitting in your bank, that's okay. That money is meant to be there for an emergency. Oh, I broke a leg. I can't work for a month and a half. You got money in the bank to pay for the bills. That's okay.
No, that's cool.
But most companies nowadays, most people will not take cryptocurrency as a payment. I can't go to Lakeland Electric or to make my mortgage payment or car payment or student loan with crypto.
Yeah,
not yet. We're not there yet. I'm just saying that it's still very fresh and new.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the one thing too. It's like I guess when it's able to be taken as a form of payment, universally, the same way the dollar is, then of course it's really gonna gain in value because I mean we're sitting right now like in your account. I mean it's not doing too much for you if you can't use it to pay anything, So,
and I have heard there's a lot of vendors, smaller shops perhaps, and even some bigger ones who will accept it. And if again anybody has an example of that, post it in chat. Let us know. That's okay. I love learning about it. I will never claim to be the expert. But again, let's share the knowledge and let's try to help each other out with that because there are so many good things and just as equally bad things. So if you can help somebody that can help others here tonight, hey, jump in by all means, help out.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess now if you want to talk about anybody who's looking for some more advice as far as investments or kind of
just the guy right now serving himself like a half a bottle of sparkling. No, so I can't call it champagne. It's not from France.
It's after hours on a Sunday night,
Everybody should be watching right now. They're like, yeah, we're going to spend Easter with the family. We're good.
No, that's cool. And
I'm sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, if you want to kind of shout out how people can get a hold of you, I'll do the same thing again. I'll throw you solo and let you kind of, like I said, shout it out. Tell people how they can get a hold of you professionally if they need to, get some advice.
Sure. And I'll be quick about it. Really, I'll make it easy for everybody. You can find me right here, my name. So Carlos Fossi Jr. You can find me on Facebook. Seriously. That's actually my Facebook logo right here. So just find me right there. Send me a message. Send me an ad. I'm okay. Just I would just probably prefer a message first, so that way I know, like, hey, saw you on the business, and that way I know I have a point of contact at least. But also, feel free to reach out to me on my cell phone. I have no shame in giving out my number. I mean, if you troll me, I will block you quick. But yeah, I don't mind sharing my cell phone. Again, 80% of my clients have my information directly. So if you want to give me a call, you can shoot me a text. Again, preferable before a phone call. But my number is 863-512-0532. Give me a holler. I have no issues, taking a couple of minutes of my time to help somebody out with some words of advice if necessary, or a couple of questions. Worst case scenario, hey, we'll jump on Zoom. Let's talk. Let's meet up. That's a nice thing. The silver lining with everything that's happening with the pandemic, I can sit here from my home office and be able to just work from here and be able to talk to individuals and just help them out. Questions day in, day out, or X, Y, and Z. So please feel free to reach out to me again. Look up my name here on Facebook, throw me an ad, send me a message, or shoot me a text. Again, 863-512-0532. More than glad to have a chat and talk.
I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like we said, now we're gonna make a little switch on things. I guess you probably noticed with the background.
Oh, yeah.
We're
By
gonna.
the way, it's been so weird saying my own name and not getting in trouble for it.
Oh, I know. I apologize that I'm making you say your name so much.
Oh, no. That does, it's the funniest thing because the whole night, as you know this on the show, so one thing we have on our show is whenever we say our government names, we have to take a drink. And trust me, we mess up. So I'm saying Carlos. I'm not getting any punishment.
No, it's true. And I guess, you guys just celebrated the 1 year of the Frack, Paddy, Wack webcast.
Well, I guess on calendar date, on March 26th was our full 1 year, but we celebrated our 1 year show on April 1st, funny enough. So it was funny because we've had the idea for years back, maybe almost 3 to 5 years prior to 2020. So around 2015, 2016, we've been talking about doing this because anytime, well, let me first start out with the Frack Paddy Wack show is consisted of Frick, Erica, myself, Frack, Paddy, who is Brooke, and Wack, TJ. I actually saw you, of course, with Paddy and Wack on the show, better known as TJ and Brooke. So saw them on there, and essentially the four of us just whenever we ever got together at TJ's house, I almost took a drink because I said his name. I'm telling you, I see that, and my head goes right to that mode.
Next week on the show, they're gonna be like, "Dude, you dropped." So you just might have just keep chugging the whole show.
Sure. I won't talk. I'll just keep drinking. But yeah, so being at TJ's house, and whenever the four of us tend to get together, we just have these nonsensical conversations, and we would just laugh and laugh and laugh, and we kept saying like, "Why aren't we recording this? Why aren't we recording this? We should be recording this." And one day, we finally made a decision because, well, pandemic. But we said, well, right now we're kind of not forced to, but everybody's kind of doing it. But at the same time, we've always been meaning to, so now we have a perfect excuse and reason. So we finally, put the money where the mouth is and decided to go forward with it. And we've had so much fun. I think one of our most consistent things, aside from the name of the show, is technical difficulties. I'm telling you, I don't think there's maybe been out of 52 weeks in the year, so out of the 52 shows that we've done, there's maybe been like 3-4 shows without like no technical difficulties whatever. So basically a month's worth of no technical issues.
I get it. I have mine. I've only done 18 shows, and I have my issues all the time. So
it's gonna happen. If it doesn't happen, I don't believe you. It's too perfect.
Yeah. You must be in a professional studio having other people do it for you, and even then,
exactly. Yeah, they paid in order to make sure nothing like that happens. Yeah. For us, we're just like, listen, internet's bad right now, dude. Sorry, deal with it.
Yeah. No, and I always talk about that. Like, I don't know if people really know that I do all this in my office. I do all the graphics for the screens, the backgrounds, and I find different stuff about people. Try to, and it's difficult because not everything works out, and you leave sometimes, and I'm like, oh man, I messed up a few things, and
I saw one show. This was probably halfway through the year, and it's a buddy of mine, Clay Montgomery. He's one of the original 6 or 7 founders of Atomic Tattoos, and he made it to the news where him and another buddy of his, a buddy of mine as well, James. They were pretty much, they weren't like being mean or being, a-holes. So they weren't doing anything negative. They were being disrespectful. But it's just during a time when Florida was still trying to open up. And there was videos of them talking against the police saying, we're not shutting down. They're saying this and this and this, whatever, and according to the mandate and to the state. And because Polk County or Leon County or Hillsborough County, and they're trying to fight against them. But they were bringing up, hey, this says this here, so therefore we're going to continue practicing. So they made it to the news for a while, and we tried getting him on a show. and for the life of us, we could not get anything working. We didn't start the show until like 45, 50 minutes late. So shortest show ever. But man, but I just remember that day. I was so frustrated, and I'm like, I'm doing this for fun. Just remember, I'm doing this for fun. This is not my day job. You just relax. Just don't be angry at the world.
That's true. But we take
Yeah,
it personal, because we do want it to work itself out. I mean, we
of course.
enjoy it. Like we're doing it for not only our own personal entertainment, but for the entertainment of others out there as well. Just to hear what it is we have to say. It was funny that you talked about how the brainchild of Frick Frack Paddy Wack came about, because I was going to bring that up, because I did ask, and I'm sure when I talked with Brooke and TJ, I did ask them, like, how did this come about? And they said almost the same exact story that you said. Like, you guys used to sit around at bonfires and house parties and just chill, and before you knew it, it was just the four of y'all, and you guys were cracking up and having a good time, and talked about why you didn't put it on camera, and,
Yeah,
and eventually it did.
one of the funniest parts, actually, from people who have seen Erica Frick on the show. She, in her words, she doesn't like the people. So not a very social one. Usually, people can tell by watching the show that TJ and I are the loudmouths. We're always talking a lot, but we give them a chance.
Sure.
So we try. We've gotten better.
That's cool.
But the funny part is about her is that she's only comfortable within a certain or certain groups of people, like most of us. People think I'm very outgoing and very social, and I'm out there. And yeah, for a couple of these, anybody is. But at the end of the day, though, I'm kind of the same way. Around a group of people that I know, drinks or not, yeah, but social butterfly, you'll see me left and right and hugging everybody left and right. But a new scenario, I will be a little more quiet. I'm more observant, and I'm looking around what's happening and learning my scenarios and seeing all the exits. That kind of person. So it's funny seeing all of us grow as individuals. TJ and I calming more down, having Brooke and Erica. I'm so glad I can say all these names without getting in trouble. You have no idea. But yeah, but seeing them, stepping up, and getting more involved and finding out more about each other, because we're always learning something new about each other. And that's something really cool, getting to learn new things about your friends who you've known maybe for years, and then realizing, that's what we call the yip of knowledge. But learning something about them and just going like, I've known you for these many years. How did I not know that story? Because let's be honest, anybody out there in chat, how many of your friends have you last time sat down and talked to and asked them like a deep question? Not deep like, hey, do pigs eat bacon? No. I'm not talking about a stoner question. I'm talking something deep like, hey, when was the last time you went to an amusement park? Oh, well, pre-COVID or during COVID? But something more meaningful, more connecting with friends. And I've learned a lot about each other through these kind of questions. So it's been fun.
No, that's cool, dude. And my next kind of question about like Frick Frack Paddy Wack is, can you kind of talk about some of the segments that you guys do? Because I know you guys have a set number of segments that you do every week. Some of you, like, I know you stick to your own line, and I'll talk about that after this question. Kind of what are your particular ones? But can you just give a rundown of the entire show, like what everybody does, like as far as some of your format that you guys roll through?
Yeah. Maybe I should pull up the slides here right now, because we have so many that we do, so many that we've done. Actually, I'm going to, because I know I'm going to miss like half of them. But essentially, we originally started just kind of chit-chatting, just whatever was on our mind, and kind of looking around saying, well, how was your day? Oh, this happened. And we just kind of bounce stories of each other. We try to have a format of some sort. We didn't want to just, wing it naturally. It's kind of how it started. And trust me, if you go back to the videos on YouTube, and again, you will go to our page on there, ffpw.live. You can see some of the old shows from there. But if you go to our YouTube channel, by the way, we are on, what aren't we on? So we are on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Our handle is, any of those. So if you go to Twitch, .com/FFPW.20. I'm sorry, FFPW20. So youtube.com, you can find us on there. If you type in YouTube and FFPW20, you'll find our channel there. So if you go to these sites, if you go to the videos, you'll see how basic it was in the beginning. I've always been a production person. I want to make it pretty and nice, and we've grown up and and developed a lot more than just the zoom setting, and now having the flashing words and things like that. And trust me, I told them that I was going to pick your brains about this because I'm seeing that you're actually going through this program and seeing that kind of stuff pop up here, and how you change the phase. And when you pull up the comments, I'm like, oh damn, all right, that's something we can do. Okay, how can I apply that? Okay, I got to ask them about this. So, but I know different services that people use are going to give different features.
For sure.
So no problem at all on that. But anyways, back to your question though. Let me see if I can look through our slides here. Yeah, we have several things, and again, we've changed. We've found some that worked for us, some that didn't because of the format. Like your format, some of these things may work, some of the things may not click because it's a one person, different than four people. So we've done things like would you rather. So the option of, like for example, my question this last week for Would You Rather was, I do now with something that's called Frack's phobias. So I'm always choosing a phobia of some sort because, again, the psychology, that's my major. So, hey, I like bringing up stuff like that. So my Would You Rather is, would you rather have galiophobia, which is the fear of laughter, or would you rather have galatophobia, which is the fear of being laughed at? So I made a relative because it was April Fool's, so laughter and laughing, sure. and we had a conversation, and we kind of get to see four different people answer, and then our process thinking, going, oh, I didn't think about it like that. Oh yeah, that might be good. No, that sounds dumb. So bouncing off each other, stuff like that may work. So would you rather's, are something that really works with our format, with how we do things. Doing something like we talk about national trending topics. I need to make another drink, apparently. National trending topics. And then we talk about local trending topics. You decide. Basically, it's kind of a breakdown bracket of saying you decide. And we have, kind of like basketball brackets. So, 8 options. Then, between this one and this one, this one and this one. And then we break it down until we get a final winner. We just brought back again meme of the week and able to share the pictures of the memes that we're looking at. And usually we try to keep them themed to whatever the topic is for that week. Random questions about our lives. We had one for a while called Florida Man versus Other States. So we read a headline and say, so is this a Florida man or is this other state?
Yeah.
We did for a while celebrity focuses. We did a game called Two Truths and a Lie, where we named 3 things and you have to figure out which one was the lie. But now we've done backward, 2 lies and a truth. You got to find out which one is true.
That's one of my favorite parts is when you guys do truths
and people trying to figure out, going like, what, you did that? I can't know. Like, oh no. And of course, like last week, I completely messed mine up. I did 2 truths and a lie. So yeah, we're trying to bring back the good news segment. We also have usually guests, like I said, like you were on the show, which again, bro, we thank you so much for being on there, because I know that was before you started your webcast and everything. Yeah, so we're now doing right now Never Have I Ever. So we're learning a lot about each other now. Never have I ever, and we're just like, really?
Yeah.
No. So and at the end we always talk about our niches of business. I'll go from our professions, what we do. We'll once in a while we may bring it back the fun of random historical facts or this day in history. We talked for a while about song and movie recommendations, things that we watch, or I'll do some segments where I'll cook or make a food item or something. So we'll make a video and I'll show the video of how I did the food and going from there.
And that was gonna be what I was gonna ask you about, like the segments. Now, if you want to talk about what's particular to you, because I know you do, a food and beverage segment where you sometimes you'll handcraft a cocktail for people live on air. I mean, I know you'll mute yourself and you'll, pour your. So
keep talking right now, because exactly right now I need to get a refill and I'm going to switch up to rum and Coke.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. So go ahead and start your question again. I just don't want to be loud and you hear all the ice and all the movements. So I'm going to mute myself real quick while you go ahead and ask that question.
All right. Okay. But yeah, I guess kind of talk about some of the segments that you particularly work on. I know that some of those social segments that you guys do, like I said, 2 Truths and a Lie is a good one. Would You Rather is a funny one, that I like to watch you guys do. And then, like I said, I know that one of your big segments is always based on food and beverage. Like, I know you like to whip up dishes. I've seen videos, like you said, of you cooking in the kitchen, and I think Brooke and TJ talked about it. I think the one day where you were actually at their house sitting for them, and you did a video of you cooking in their stove and everything. So I thought that was funny. If you can kind of talk about like your particular segments, like I said, I watch you whip up cocktails all the time in the backgrounds, like kind of like what you're doing right now, and go in that route. Kind of talk about that if you don't mind.
For sure. So it was funny because number one, I always tend to get the measurements wrong. So usually when I learned after this first couple of times to get a measuring cups and do things and whatnot. So, but I love. So, rum and coke. So yeah, so I love doing that because it was kind of my thing, by no means am I an alcoholic or anything like that, and I'm not making fun of it, but that would be kind of the joke where I'm like, oh, I'm always the guy who's drinking. So in the group, I always make something new. I had a list of different drinks that I would make. Now, throughout time, it's kind of got a little slower because we've been slowing down to just either a beer or a whiskey at TJ and Brooks' house, better known as the Paddy and Wack Studios. So yeah, but I like doing that because it brought something new, this kind of new drink, and I would put up the recipe so that way people can follow it up. So if you want to go to back prior videos, take a look at it. You can stop screen, and take a look at it and try it for yourself. And then, the food segment, that was one of the funniest ones ever. So the funny thing is that for Erica, such a habit, Erica lives not too far from where TJ and Brooke live. So one day I was house sitting for them, and I said, idea. I called Erica. I said, hey, are you at home? She's like, yeah, here's an idea. I need you to come over right now. She's like, I'm there. They had no idea we were doing this. So I forget what episode it is. It's probably within the last 3-4 months. But basically what happened is I decided to cook a stir fry. Just last minute, found what was in the fridge and said, okay, today we're cooking this. And I started whipping it up together, just started cooking. Of course, I searched through the house first, make sure everything's set, ready to go. So it's, doesn't waste time. And I want to make sure they didn't burn the house down. But it was so funny because she heard the excitement over the phone and she's like, I'm there. So I'm like, yes. So she came over, she had the camera, and I had my camera sitting on one of those little selfie stick things. So it's holding there. So we had different angles and it showed different views. So it was just hilarious because we're sitting there laughing. Like before starting the show, we're like, I hope there are murders. Oh my God, what are we doing? And it was funny because TJ and Brooke kept saying, we kept seeing, a movement from the cameras because they have cameras in the house. It says, but, we were thinking, okay, it's probably you walking around. Didn't pay attention to it. But then Erica posted something on Facebook that almost gave it away. She said, when the neighbor looks at you when you leave with professional cameras and lighting, walking out of a friend's house, and then they were like, because they saw her come into the house and then leave, from their I think they have a ring thing front door. So they're going what the hell is happening at the house? And I remember now they went up to St. Augustine. So they took Tyler and everything, and I was basically house sitting and dog sitting. Trooper is their Dalmatian, and they were up there because it was a birthday for his dad, Bill. Again, he's the owner of Winter Circle, best freaking wings. Go to Winter Circle here in Lakeland.
Sure.
Anyways, I don't even get paid for these plugs, Jesus. So anyways, but so they left. So they said, yeah, I'll come by. I'll stay for a day and a half, a chair, etc. So we did all that, and then we took the videos, and then I didn't tell them until the day of when I was actually doing the video. So we played it in there, and they're just like, what happened? What are you doing? We hear all these things. They had no idea. So, but again, I'm just so glad I have such a great friend like Erica. Seriously. She's awesome to just last minute be like, okay, I can do this. Yeah, let's go. I'll come over and just help me with it. And it was just hilarious. So somebody to understand my stupidity and my enthusiasm at the same time, gotta love them. So that's still one of my favorite food segments to this day.
Well, and it was funny because I don't know if it was that particular one that I saw too, but I watched one where you did it in a time lapse and you're flying around the kitchen and you're making up some dish, and I don't know if it was the teriyaki chicken.
No, okay, yeah. So I do a lot of mine in time lapse, so that way if I got to condense the time or something, if I'm not talking, you don't want to sit at 58-minute video, so I just condensed it to like 30 seconds. But I've done several at my house where there was one video where I made a triple chocolate cake, but it was like but it wasn't like a cake base, like a cake mix. It was like almost like a cake, like an ice cream cake almost. So it ended up being fine, but it was delicious. But you had to keep it frozen because if not, it would just melt and fall apart.
Yeah.
So that went out great. And again, they tried and everything else, and the people here at home liked it too. I made also, what was it? So Brooke unfortunately has a lot of food allergies, so a lot of foods she cannot have. So we found a gluten-free snickerdoodle cake, and I made that for her. So that was another one that I made for TJ for his birthday. I made white chocolate peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. So took a video of that, made that as well. And on Instagram, we try to keep shorter videos and do things like that. So we try to add on there as well, which we got to probably update right now. But just for myself, even, I've made a tiramisu because I've been learning how to quarantine bake. I've made a banana pudding cheesecake. I made a banana bread. I taught myself how to do, what's it called? Bananas Fosters. So many different things now. So it's been fun learning, and it's kind of a hidden talent of mine that I didn't know I really had until I got that freedom to express myself in the kitchen. So if anybody wants anything made, hit me up. Still same phone number, but that costs. So.
No, that's cool. And I see that you're passionate about what you guys are doing. It's super fun because like you said, you and TJ talk a lot on the show, and Erica's got her funny input because Erica's funny. She's got that cool, cold humor, and
straight
Brooke,
to the point.
Yeah, Brooke's just quiet, and she's got her little giggle that she does.
Yeah, I don't know about quiet and giggle.
Well,
trust me,
that's true.
She's more sarcastic than she lets on.
Yeah.
But we love her.
That's
true.
True.
Obviously, TJ loves her. They're still together, so hey.
No, she's super cool too. Like that's
she's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that that's some of the cool things. The wifey, she's watching the show. She chimed in. She was like, "Banana cheesecake sounds good."
Oh, trust me, it is. Mwah. I'll send you pictures later, Tony, so you can show her, and then I'll see if I can find the recipe too.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate your ass. Just I guess kind of at this point, if we talked about it on the show I was on, how much of an inspiration you guys are as far as getting into this situation. Can you give some people some advice that are contemplating getting into podcasting or webcasting or whatever it is that they may choose to do? We're lucky enough to be in the form of a webcast. I was always calling it podcasting until I was really on your show, and you guys have the webcast. And Erica asked me, she goes, "What are you doing? Are you doing video or just audio?" And I was like, "Well, I'm going to do video." And she was like, "Okay, that's cool." And I kind of then took it like, hold on, I think she's trying to tell me like what I'm doing with video isn't really called a podcast anymore at that point. It's more of a webcast, and because I'm not just going audio based, even though I guess I could do it audio based as well, because some of these segments, are hilarious, and we don't really stop talking, so there's no dead time that I ever really have with the guest. They would
get to see your beautiful face or my bar behind me. Then what's the point?
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I like to see people's expressions. I want people to see my expressions and kind of know what it is that when I'm saying things to you, I'm being real about it. And that's the whole point of this show is, talking to people that have, got some professions and, are doing some other things. And I guess like, if you could give some advice to somebody, like I said, who's looking to get into what it is that we're doing right now.
My first piece of advice is do it. Stop thinking about it. I understand that people want to make a plan and have things, and that's okay. Having a format or something, I get those kind of things have to be built. Just do it. Try. The moment you get over that first hurdle and get that fear off your chest, you're going to feel a lot better. Trust me. Go back to, like I said, the beginning of our shows. Our first, probably 12, 15 episodes, I consider them horrible visually. But again, we were just starting out. We had an idea of what we wanted to do, the format, but we just got on and did it. Yeah. A lot of people think, now, whether you look into we're looking to do this as far as like a profession, or if it's even just on a spare time basis, whatever you do, you got to remember success and failure is not one side or another. It's going to be you, failure, success. You got to go through all those bumps and bad things in order to get to the good stuff, right? You know, so it's same thing here. If you're doing it for fun, then even better. You're relaxed, just whatever. You're going to mess up. Something's going to go wrong. The cat's going to run across the camera or something. You're going to spill your drink or things are going to happen. Deal with it. It's fine. But that's my first step or first piece of advice is just do it. Then afterwards, yeah, I would definitely suggest, once you get that off your chest, definitely have a format built for it. If you're doing something like Tony's doing right now, then definitely have something where you have your questions ready, where you have an idea of what you'd like to do. What's the time frame? At what speed do you want to go by? What platforms do you want to be heard on? You start working the details afterwards. If it's multiple people, then what views do you want to have? How do you want to be perceived as far as, hey, do you want just a phase on Zoom or a panoramic big picture or whatever it might be? You figure the details along the way. It's nice to have those things beforehand. I get it. But what stops a lot of people, and I had some friends that I've talked with a couple of months back, and they have not started yet because unfortunately, they have just not jumped the gun. It's not going to be perfect the first time around. So try and do it first. Work the format along the way. And trust me, you'll find your path eventually. Now, if you already have something in mind, saying, no, the reason for my podcast or for my webcast or for my show is that I'm going to X, Y, and Z every single time, great. But you may not have that yet. And if you don't have that, don't let that stop you from starting. Start and then figure it out along the way. Like I said, all these segments and things I was reading out earlier, like what we do, like the Never Have I Evers, that started in the last 2 months. We always played 2 truths and a lie. I think in the last 3-4 months we made it 2 lies and a truth. So things are going to change. They're going to evolve. Heck, our video production evolved. Trust me. So first of all, just do it. You'll figure out the path along the way. If you already have a reason and purpose, perfect. It'll make the other 2 easier.
Yeah. No, I try to kind of push that to people too. I know I'm sure you probably seen a lot of my final quotes of the night, and I'm always like trying to tell people like, stop holding back, stop holding back, stop holding back. Just go. Because if you want to do this, I mean, and we talked about it when I was on your show. There's room for all of us in our own little factions. There's a way for all of us to get into this and do our own thing and talk about stuff that interests people in different ways. There's no reason, and I think this to be true, for there to be really haters in this industry because of the fact that, I mean, are there? Of course, but should there be? No, because we can all make off of this the same way. Like it's an enjoyment.
Some things. Actually, I believe that until you have haters, you're not doing it right yet. If everybody's supporting you from the beginning, I was like, oh, this is too good. Hold on a second. We started having haters, perfect. Reaching out to a new kind of crowd. No, but it's going to happen. Some people are not going to like my voice or perhaps my mannerism because I'm just a wilder, crazier one. Some people may enjoy more Tony because he's more serious. Let's be real. And boom, that's the kind of thing they're after. Yeah, get straight to the point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Some people might enjoy your voice a lot more because it's more manly. I'm trying here. See, I can't. Yeah, see? It's going to be dumb things like that. Yeah. I didn't like the shirt. The fact that I'm wearing, a Quicksilver shirt. Somebody's going to be like, you're not a surfer. Like, get off my back, dude. It's all right.
Oh, I get it.
There's going to be haters everywhere. It's all right. Just drink some Haterade, put your hater blockers, and get out of there.
I don't know. I feed off it, dude. I love it. I love haters. I appreciate them. I guess now at this point, we've talked about the financial advisor thing. You've talked about Frick, Frack, Paddy, Wack now. I guess I'm going to give you another solo round to kind of shout yourself out both professionally and personally, what it is you're doing with both industries. I'm going to throw you to solo screen, and then I'm going to bring you back and do my last little bit with you called Pick Your Poison.
Awesome. So, and again, this will be nice and short and quick. Again, I like to get in straight to the point, help everybody out, condense. So, again, everybody, just big reminder, this right here, let's be real with business. Make sure, again, follow, subscribe, like, share, do everything else, get the notifications and whatnot. So thank you, Tony, for giving me a chance to be here tonight with you. I love you, bro. I really appreciate this. For myself personally, for my profession and what I do, once again, it's about having a conversation. It's not about saying, "Oh, I got to sit with a guy, in a 3-piece suit," although I do miss wearing them. But this is going to cost me a lot of money. It's about having a conversation. People don't need, more than 90% of the time, you don't need products. We need solutions. So in the financial world, especially for myself, again, right here is my name. Look up my name again. That's my, right here. That's my picture that you'll find on Facebook. Again, throw me an ad. Throw me a message to say, "Hey, saw you on there. I've got a question about this." Reach out to me once again. My cell phone number, 863-512-0532. Shoot me a text. Give me a call. But again, if you start trolling me, I will block. But anyways, but please, these should be conversations. People have questions they want answered. And the beautiful thing about the internet is that if you want to type something in, man, you can ask a question and you can get so many answers. But the bad thing is at the same time is that you ask a question and there's so many answers, so you may not know which one's the right one or which one applies to you in your scenario. That's why I like having that one-on-one talk. So shoot me a text, give me the call. More than glad to be able to help out and say, "Hey, you know what? According to the X, Y, and Z, yeah, maybe this might apply or might not." So as you've heard earlier from my story, I love educating. I love helping people. That's my big thing. Now, on the other side of things, as you're seeing right here. So, again, I am Frack from the Frack Paddy Wack Show. Find us on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I think I got all of them. And again, on any of those, /FFPW20. And also you can go to our website, ffpw.live. So going from there, again, we talk about so many different things. We also keep it very lighthearted. We try to avoid, as much as we can, sometimes we can't, but we try to avoid, things like religion, politics, the big things that are just very divisive. Not to say we can't talk about them. We've mentioned them before. We'll bring up the topics because it's going to touch on topics that we discuss. But we try to make sure that everybody has fun with what we do. We want to make sure that people are enjoying their time, escape for a while. There's so many things happening out in the world that right now we're just all about it. And we're sick and tired of just hearing bad news or having one person fight with another. It doesn't matter. If you've watched our show, or if not, if you start watching, you'll see that us, the four of us in Frack, Paddy, and Wack, we don't all stand in the same side of what X, Y, and Z topic might be. And that's okay. We're allowed to have opinions. But the nice thing is that for us, as four friends, we actually have a discussion and conversation. So that's something that I appreciate about that we're still friends after the fact. We're going to have different opinions, but that's okay. We're allowed to. And we get to do it, while having a nice drink. So... But again, I thank everybody who has been watching tonight with Tony right here. So the business, please, major shout out to the man. For anybody new here, again, feel free to join us as well on Frack Paddy Wack. Again, FFPW20 or FFPW.live on our website. Again, we appreciate everybody who supports local businesses. Again, we always try to give a shout out to local businesses here within Lakeland. If you live somewhere else in the U.S. or wherever in the world, support your local business. But again, supporting your local individual who is trying to do something, who is trying to help others, who's just trying to have fun. It costs nothing to just make a click, make a comment, and just jump in and support and say hello to a friend. Trust me, it might make their day. You have no idea. But again, big shout out to Tony once more. Thank you for having me on the show tonight, man. I really appreciate it, if anything else.
Oh man, I appreciate you coming on, dude. We talked about it back when I was on your guys' show, and I knew I was gonna have TJ and Brooke on together, and my plan was to have you and Erica kind of separately because I know Erica's got her profession that she does with computer.
I'm not gonna lie, I did ask her. I was like, I think you talked about it. Are you gonna be on there too? Was it just me? Okay, I don't know. Because it was TJ and Brooke. It's like, am I gonna be you? I don't know.
No. And I'm gonna give Erica her own.
Yeah, no. I realized. I was like, you're right. I would have talked too much. She'd be like, damn, boy, shut up. I can hear her in my head already. Yeah. And, which, by the way, I can't talk smack about her because she helps me so much with all the work she does. So y'all, when Erica comes on the show here with Tony, trust me, listen to what she's got to say. She's knowledgeable.
Yeah, she's awesome, dude. She's awesome. And that's what I mean. I'm going to have her on her own show so she can talk about what she does professionally and, talk about the hooping thing. And, I know you.
You'll get plenty to talk about that on that.
It was funny because after I was on your guys' show and I'm like, oh, I don't know Killian Hayes, and then I look him up and I'm like, holy shit, I can't believe I said I didn't know. I was like, I feel so stupid, and I told Brooke and TJ that when they were on the show. I was like, tell Eric I'm so sorry, dude. Like I really didn't.
I did see that.
And it was funny, and I mean, so I really want to have her on, talk to her. I mean, but like I said, I appreciate you coming on, dude. And just chopping it up with me, dude, like for the last hour and 40 minutes, dude, 100 minutes we've been putting it on. And it's funny because you sent me a message earlier, like, what are we looking at, 30, 60, 90? And I said, dude, we have no time limit. We just, I
didn't know. I just need to know how many drinks I need to have ready. So,
oh, I get it, dude. And so, right now is the segment where I kind of, ask a couple goofy questions. It's funny. I call it Pick Your Poison.
Okay, listen, you've seen Frack, Paddy, Wack before. We love games, so you got me. Let's do this.
So my 3 questions for you, like I said, are pretty simple questions. It's nothing too crazy. But question number 1 is, do you prefer talking money or do you prefer talking cocktails and food? Because I know you're passionate about both.
Damn, you're cool. There's like things that I do enjoy and love. If I have to make a choice, I'd probably say talking money. Not because there's a love for it or whatever, but it's because I know it's something that can help people overall. Again, I'm a huge empath, so my heart always feels, for others. So if I can put people in a good money situation, they can buy food and cocktails. I can have best of both worlds.
No, that's cool. The next question is kind of funny because you and I always talk about it before, and I know, what your feelings are on this, and that's why I'm going to ask it. But music versus sports.
Oh,
I know that's an easy one for you.
Yeah, for me, it's music. As you can tell, I'm not really the sporty type. But funny enough, actually, growing up as a kid, I did play soccer. I played baseball. And actually, I've been playing golf since I was 7, 8 years old. So I do enjoy sports, but I don't follow like a team. Like TJ and Brooke, they like the Dolphins, and I don't know who Erica likes. I'm sure her kids, whatever team they're on in high school, but but no. The cool thing about me about sports, if you tell me, hey, I'm cheering for this team, I'll be like, all right, go team. Yeah. I'm here for the beer and chips. But for me, it's always been music. So
yeah, I know, I get it. And my last question, I mean, pretty simple question, but it's also, it's one's personal choice, and I guess so it's like you and I probably would go more towards one than the other, but they're both great in their own right, which would be podcast versus webcast.
I am a huge visual person, and that's why I would definitely have to go webcast. I know before any of this really, in the virtual world, if you will, the e-world, it was podcast first. Because you had audiobooks, you had people always talking about shows and things like that, and people have been doing it years prior to when it got a lot bigger, prior to the pandemic. It was already kind of getting big before this. But for me, I like the webcast because I like something to have a look at. I like to listen sometimes to game shows on not radio, but I guess on podcast style, and they'll do quizzes or whatever else. But I always think I hear the voice of this person, and this is how I picture them in my head, and I have to Wikipedia them, what do they look like? So I'm a huge visual person on that end. The webcast for me, for sure. Like I said, I like seeing, we were talking about earlier, I like seeing the reaction of the person. Somebody gets excited or they have a reaction. If they just go, you don't hear anything, but you see the reaction and you're like, uh-oh, that's excitement, or, oh, that's danger. So I definitely, again, going to go webcast on that end. There's some shows that I've seen from, again, kind of same style, webcast style, but I watch them on YouTube because why? I can see the reaction. Now, somebody may be laughing, but the way they laugh and make a funny face, I've laughed before at the person, and not their laughter or because the joke is funny, but because the way they look when they're laughing. So it's something as dumb as that.
That's
Again, so
true.
I'm a huge visual person. Just me sitting there going, huh, okay. So nothing against podcasts again. I know there's a lot of great many podcasts out there that are by amazing people. But for me, I I like the visual.
I get it. I get it. I appreciate you, my man. I know this was something different for you. I know you guys have your guys' show style that you guys do, and I appreciate you coming onto my format and kind of just rolling with me and chopping it up.
Anything to support, bro. Anything. And if anything, again, I will say thank you to you, and I will say everybody out in chat, follow this man here. Again, share, like, subscribe, and everything else. Find his email and send him some money. Whatever. Support.
I appreciate you, my
And
big
10%.
guy. You take care, Carlos. I'm gonna put you backstage right now. Like I said, I appreciate you extremely. Keep a lookout for Frick Frack Paddy Wack show on Thursday nights 9:30. All the different accounts that he said, they're available. Awesome show. Can't wait to see you guys. After this 1 year has gone by, and what's up for year number 2, man. Take care of yourself, Carlos. Love you, big guy. So yeah, that was Carlos Fossi Jr. Totally appreciate the guy. Appreciate that he was able to come on, just talk about his life, how he was brought up through Venezuela, some of the times he went through, leading up to him going through school, and then once he got went back to Venezuela and got stuck there. I mean, this is a great story tonight, and I hope you guys appreciated it the way I did. And what he was able to do, with school, and then where he went for school, and what happened after, and all the different things that he did, and following up with Frick Frack Paddy Wack and where they're at now. Like I said, just celebrating their 1 year show anniversary. They've been on a little bit over a year, but yeah, the first was their 1 year anniversary, and I was excited to see it because I'm excited for them. And like I said, I always support them every Thursday night. They can tell you I pop in there, and if they don't see that comment, hey guys and gals, it's just not the same, because I always try to give them a shout out and let them know that I'm there, and supporting them in any way I can. And I appreciate their support in the same way, because I when I'm on here and I see those comments drop in from Carlos and TJ and Brooke and Erica, like I appreciate them so much and everything they do to support the show right back. So yeah, like I said, appreciate them. Appreciate Carlos, TJ, Brooke that have been on already. Erica, get ready, because I'm gonna come for you here soon too. But yeah, I just want to kind of give a shout out. I do want to talk about the games. Does have an event coming out on Saturday, May 8th in 2021 here in Zephyr Hills, Florida. It's going to be at the Sarah Vandenberg Tennis and Wellness Center. It's a $20 entry fee. It's $250 grand prize. I'm kind of, going to go out there and help support them. I'm supporting them with these promos that I'm doing for them, because, I really appreciate what it is that they're doing with some of the proceeds. Some of the proceeds are going to help support hashtag Lorraine Proud and some of the local businesses and local business owners there in my hometown of Lorain, Ohio. So yeah, go check it out. The games at Sarah Vandenberg Tennis and Wellness Center is going to be Saturday, May 8th. It's going to be from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm looking to take out, some athletes to go out there. They're going to get into it and see if they can win it, and have a good time. So check it out, May 8th, Sarah Vandenberg and Tennis and Wellness Center. Well, yeah, did want to give a shout out to the Stanford women's basketball team. They just won the national championship tonight in women's basketball. Super excited for them. They had a great season. Arizona's season was a great season as well. They just fell short at the end. They were able to knock off UConn in the semifinals, but just couldn't, get it done against Stanford tonight. So best season to them both. Stanford was just lucky enough to pull it out. Tomorrow night for the men's title, it's going to be the matchup that everybody wanted to see kind of this year between Baylor and Gonzaga. I can't wait to watch it. I'll be watching it pretty intensely to just see what happens. Super excited for that. And, next week's show is going to be a pretty small show. I think I'm going to try to do it Saturday night if I can. Real quick with the kids. We're going to do a WrestleMania preview The kids are really into wrestling, and they asked if we could do a preview for them. And me and my kids, I can't say no to them. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do next week for episode 19. Is going to be a WrestleMania preview. We're going to roll through Saturday nights and Sunday nights. Some of the matches that are going on, and I'm just going to pick their little brains and let them tell what they like and dislike about each matchup. So yeah, that'll be next Saturday. I'm hoping 6:00. Want to do it leading up to WrestleMania that Saturday night. So yeah, check it out. Check out the business. Let's Be Real on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook under Tony Gonzalez. You guys can always find me there. Appreciate you all so much. But I'm going to go ahead and drop my final quote of the night. My final quote is, wake up with determination, go to bed with satisfaction. If we don't wake up determined to be in a better situation than what we were yesterday, then, we're just trying to get by day, and that's, not what we should be trying to do. We should be trying to be pushing to make a better life for not only ourselves, for those around us. And when you go to bed at night, be satisfied with what it is that you did. With that being said, the business, let's be real. I appreciate you all. Episode 18, though, over, out.